Mike, you mentioned that the Greek's going to take on Antron Brown in the second round. I want to show you what he's up against because this is a typical pit for what we see from most of these guys. This is Tony Pedregon's. They've already got two sets of heads laid out and ready to go. But let's walk over here. Well, you see the nice transporter that Tony has. And Tony's on a budget, by the way, this year. Then we get to the Greek. Check this out. This is what he brings his car to the racetrack with and probably has been doing it forever, more or less. But these guys are giving it their best. The Greek is packing his chutes right now. They are getting the engine torn apart to get it rebuilt, to get it ready for that matchup with Antron.
You know, when I was working at Pro Crank in the late 80s, the Greek used to come by and keep his car there over the winter, and I think that's the same trailer he had back then.
All right, it's going to be Melanie Troxel and Tim Wilkerson, the first pair in Funny Car. Let's look at the Lucas Oil ladder, and they got a classic matchup here. John Force versus his longtime rival Cruz Pedregon. They last raced on the Tour at Indy. They first met 19 years ago in Houston.
On the other side of the ladder, we're going to be looking at that matchup between Mike Neff and Tony Pedregon. Mike looking for his 5th straight final round against Tony Pedregon, the 2nd winningest Funny Car driver ever.
So as we start with Funny Car, last little dial-up for Melanie Troxel's car, the first and only female to win in both nitro classes here in 2008 when she won over Mike Neff. And Tim Wilkerson won at Norwalk a year ago. We're in Norwalk next week.
Well, and Tim Wilkerson started getting his season turned around this time last year. It looks like he might be doing the same thing. He's your number 5 qualifier, made a great 408 run in the final session yesterday. Melanie ran very well at Englishtown, struggled in qualifying coming into the final session, did manage to run a 4:15 that got her in the number 12 spot. That puts her up against Tim Wilkerson with lane choice, and Tim is taking the right lane like most of the field drivers.
Tim was the runner-up here last year.
Look at Melanie go.
Melanie Troxel, 414, 309 miles an hour. It's Roger Burgess, her car owner. He's quite a story this weekend, too, in Pro Mod.
This was all Melanie. 300ths of a second advantage off the starting line and just started pulling away. Something mechanically had to go wrong on Tim Wilkerson's car. It just did not run from the time he hit the gas. Not a problem for Melanie. As you look at her, just all 8 cylinders all the way down the racetrack. 414 at 309 miles per hour to advance her to the 2nd round.